Okay, this here's a general update. Just talking about the Hutchinson House plot. From the way it looks right now, things are miserable. I don't think I'm gonna make a crop from this year, which sucks. I'm also gonna call it right now. Perennial plants, they don't work. They're no go. I'm never doing that again. Um, these things are just wretched. Their growth form is absolutely just unacceptable. I mean, granted, they are getting ate up by deer, but they're barely making proper leaves. They're really scrunched up. They're really shrubby, really bushy. They're not putting out um, anything resembling a terminal bud. Um, so they're just going to turn all into vegetative growth. And I mean, it's the 1st of July, and I still have some of these that have not budded out. They have buds. I can scratch the bark. The bark's still green. They're still alive. It has been 8 months since the first frost, and they're still not budded out. That's just ain't gonna work. So they're getting tore up next year, and these are getting tore up next year, and we're gonna plant from seed again. And over here at these guys on the plastic, they look miserable. If anything, they've shrunk in size. I think they're still getting browsed by deer. So we've learned this year that a deer fence is mandatory and that perennial plants are non-viable. I've also learned that if I'm going to do plastic like this, I think it's pretty much required that I also irrigate, whether that be with irrigation tape or manually with that there watering can. They need some kind of irrigation, and I've got to figure out something for that. We just got a water line hooked up over there to a shallow well, so next year hopefully I can just run an underground hose over here and just hook up a tape and just turn a spigot and irrigate everything for an hour or so, cut it back off, and then that'll be the end of it. But that's a next year thing. Transplants are doing all right considering I'm not watering them. They honestly should be doing worse. I don't think any of them have died, so that at least worked. But yeah, these guys are miserable. Once again, it's the 1st of July, and I'm well behind last year, and last year I already had a bunch of setbacks. So, not really sure what to do. I don't know why they're so bad this year. The only thing I can think of is that I'm not irrigating them like I did last year. But we also haven't had any significant droughts like we did last year. We've had pretty good precipitation. So I don't really think me not irrigating should have this big of an impact. They shouldn't be this far behind last year. Something else has to be going on. I don't know if that's the plastic causing increased evaporation from the soil or what, but they also have less weed competition. I'm not disturbing the soil weeding as much, so that really shouldn't be the thing. The only other thing I can think of is they're not getting enough infiltration into the soil due to the plastic. But that shouldn't be it either, because I have this trench this year. So if anything, more water is infiltrating, because before it used to run off. So now it's getting trapped in this funnel, and there is a forced increase of infiltration that they were not getting last year, because I can tell you that water's not running off the sides. It is forcing more water than last year into these, specifically to where the plants are. And there's less weed competition. I'm not seeing, signs of sortion. The only thing that is really happening that wasn't last year is deer depredation. And that just may be it. Or maybe me liming the soil or something like that had an adverse effect. Maybe I put down too much fertilizer in the wrong place and it stunted their growth. Who knows? But that's the state of affairs at the moment for the 1st of July. The one other difference that there was between last year and this year that I just thought of is the fact that it wasn't scorchingly hot really early. We actually had spring this year, which was insane. We probably had 2 months of 70 to 80 degree weather after I planted the cotton. which, considering cotton loves really hot weather, that may have honestly been worse for it, even though it was great for us human beings living here. So that's the only other thing. Alright, so here's the farm plot again. As you can see, we've had some transplant mortality, but overall, these guys are doing just fine. I mean, if anything, they're doing too good. I think the tallest plant I had was 57 inches, 57 and a half. I think I had two at that height, which is big. It's very big. It's almost 5 foot. That's taller than most of the plants got last year. And they just started flowering. Just fertilized them with a foliar application, and I think they're starting to darken up. We shall see. Aw, yeah. That's just what the cotton needed. So it looks like the July rains are on the way. The 10-day says thunderstorms every day. It was a little worse this morning. This wasn't AM thunderstorms then. It was just pretty much scattered thunderstorms for 10 days straight. But I think that'll do the cotton a world of good. And I think we're going to see a turning point here in the Hutchinson House plot starting week after next, after they, get deluged for 2 weeks. So now for real this time, Tom out.